Chapter 1401 It's easy for them. Or did Wu Yufei become smart and look up Lin Che? Liang Shan wondered furiously. Wu Yufei did not know about being grateful. He had groomed her from the start and now, she dared to seek revenge. A few of the company's directors mentioned the matter during the company's meeting. The situation outside is bad. They're saying we treat artists like money trees, that we throw them once we no longer want them and we never spare a thought for them. How did this happen? Liang Shan, that's your artist and you didn't manage it well. Artists these days aren't that easy to manage, and with the addition of many media, fans, and netizens poking their noses into things, you can't be like in the past. People like to talk about power and respect these days, do you understand? Liang Shan said, I've checked this and it seems like another company is trying to suppress it on purpose. Which other company? Lin Che's studio. Nobody dared to say a word after Liang Shan said his piece. Everyone looked at one another and in an instant, the room temperature seemed to have dropped. How have we offended them? I've told you earlier on to treat them better. Now, look at the state we're in. A director spoke. In the past, it was not known that Lin Che was Mrs. Gu. Now that it was known, who would dare to fight her directly? Liang Shan said, it's not that we can't deal with her now, even if she's Mrs. Gu. Now that it's been made known, she wouldn't just use her husband's resources frivolously. If not, people would say that she's relying on her husband and she still finds this taboo. So, enough. How do you know what others are thinking? You don't know how powerful and heartless Gu Jingze can be. We've asked around. A number of clans have gone without a trace and according to sources, it is related to him. But now, don't bother about this issue. I don't want to offend Gu Jingze because of one artist. Liang Shan was pressured down. Even though he was the industry's top agent, he was still an employee and could not be a director. He felt disgruntled having been pressured all the way. He looked outside. Wu Yufei's picture still hung at a prominent spot in the company. When he first saw her, he thought she would be easy to control as she did not have a background or backer. Now, she had the audacity to look up Lin Che to go against him. At night, Wu Yufei walked out of the convenience store. She had been having cup noodles at home for days. Her assistant had already returned to the company and was no longer helping her. She did not want to see anybody now. It seemed like she had experienced life's biggest ups and downs all in a night. She started from nothing to becoming famous overnight, and now back to a low point in her life. It really made her feel like she was in a dream and that it was not real. Initially, she felt it was a good dream with her overnight fame. She started squandering her life after accepting that. Now, everything was gone overnight. All those years became unreal. She did not want to do anything but only wanted to be alone, to quietly stay at home to watch the television, eat and play video games. The truth was, she was unwilling to accept this reality. However, just as she took her keys to unlock the door, someone grabbed her. Ah, who are you? What are you doing? Wu Yufei shouted along the way until she was thrown into a car. She was brought to a place and when she got down, she saw Liang Shan sitting on a chair looking at her. Liang, brother Liang. Ha, now you know how to call me brother Liang. What did you call me when you went to Lin Che? Wu Yufei was stunned. Did he know? You've already destroyed me. What else do you want? What do I want? That's called destroyed. You're really naive, Wu Yufei. All of this is because of you. I asked you to behave, so you should behave. If you don't behave, how can you blame me for not wanting you? So now, you'll see for yourself, what kind of person I am. All these years, you've never really got to know me. Liang Shan got some men to move forward. Wu Yufei looked at the strong men and panicked internally. You, what are you going to do? Liang Shan, you dare. Haha, what do I not dare to do? You're still the famous Wu Yufei. Oh no, even if you're no longer famous, would you still dare to tell others what happened to you? If you dare to let others know, I'll dare to let you be seen by all the men. Think about the title, how attractive it is. The used to be famous Wu Yufei getting it on with a group of people. Ha ha ha. You. She screamed but nobody showed any pity. And Liang Shan was posting a speech on the internet. I don't know who's tarnishing my relationships with the artists. Due to the car accident, Wu Yufei is currently at home reflecting and also taking the chance to rest. Who dares to use this to tarnish my company's image? I've never offended anyone in this industry and even if so, there are only a few competitors. Let's have a real competition instead of relying on oppression, all right? Yu Minmin saw that. Ha, what was he playing at? The staff immediately said, Sister Che, we're unable to contact Wu Yufei now. It can't be that she's playing us, right? Yu Minmin pinched her chin. That's impossible. Liang Shan has no confidence. He wouldn't come out to talk. He'll only settle this discreetly. Oh my, that's why I say. These people are unreliable. We promised to help her and she's playing us out. Yu Minmin made a sound. We're not to be taken for fools. Find her, immediately. Yes. Getting them to look for a person was very easy. Just that, Lin Che found the location that Wu Yufei was hiding at to be strange. This is not the address that Wu Yufei gave. What exactly happened to her? Did she get threatened and so she's gone missing in action? Yu Minmin replied, it's possible she got threatened. Liang Shan had worked with her for so many years and must know all the negative things about her. Then she's really naive thinking that she can make a fool of us. Lin Che replied, go have a look first. Okay. The two of them went to knock on the door. Nobody answered. Lin Che said, Wu Yufei, I know you're in there. Open the door or we'll charge in. You choose. There was still no sound. Lin Che gave Dongzi a look. Dongzi took out a tool, placed it at the side, and with a move, the door's lock came off. This wonder key was not something an ordinary person would have. Most locks would unlock in a bit. Even the special locks would be unlocked after spending a bit of effort. The door opened and they went inside. Who are you? Don't come inside. Wu Yufei's voice trembled. Lin Che frowned and thought it was strange when she heard her voice. She looked at Wu Yufei who was there in a mess. Her clothes were also unbearable. Lin Che's face changed. She walked over. What happened to you? Wu Yufei looked up. You guys, it's you guys. How did you find me? Nobody knows about Liang Shan's place. Chapter 1402. We would not get bullied that easily. Yu Minmin said, to us, there's nobody we can't find in B City or C Nation. Wu Yufei looked at the people behind Lin Che and understood right away. Liang Shan had really thought he was dealing with ordinary people. Lin Che said, all right, tell us first. What happened exactly? Wu Yufei started crying immediately, holding onto her cheeks. Nothing needed to be said actually. One could tell by the looks of it. Hearing Wu Yufei finish speaking, Yu Minmin said angrily, what he did is illegal. Ha, he's courting death. Wu Yufei quickly said, what do you guys want to do? I don't want others to know. I don't. Yu Minmin said, Wu Yufei, you're already in this state. What else are you thinking of doing? Wu Yufei looked at Yu Minmin. I'm born in a small household. My family consists of ordinary people. They're very happy that I can become famous, thinking that my house has a celebrity. Wu Yufei's words made Yu Minmin stop. Wu Yufei looked bleak, and her face showed a smile that mocked herself. All these years and I've always been said to be the most capable in my family. Because of me, we were able to live in a big house and we can stand up tall and proud in our hometown. Every time I see them, I think, no matter what, it all seemed worth it. At least, my hard work can make others happy, right? She started sobbing, tears flowing. If people see my video, if others were to know about my incident, how are my parents going to face the world? I might as well be dead. There's no point in heading out and seeing others. It was thoughts of despair, but as women, they could understand. Women were already on the losing end of this aspect. Others say you have to be brave and come forth about it like it is an easy thing. However, they did not think about the consequences of being brave. Yes, there would already be brave people. They sacrificed themselves for the sake of getting the bad guy punished. They were sacrificed. And there would always be some who did not dare to sacrifice. Countless girls still do not dare to sacrifice and they should be understood. Others who are not the victim will never know how painful it is to face it. Lin Che said, okay, we won't announce it if you don't want to. But now that you're on our side, you have to trust us. Even if nobody will know about this matter, we have ways to deal with it. But the important thing is, you have to stand on our side. It's just Liang Shan. You don't have to be afraid of him. Didn't you say so yourself when you looked for me? As long as I can help you to deal with him. Then why are you so terrified now? Wu Yufei looked up. Can you really deal with him without letting it be known to the public? Of course. Moreover, he can forget about appearing in the entertainment industry with his stupid face. This black sheep. It's because of people like him that the industry has become so frightening. Since he wants to use extreme ways, then I'll not show him any courtesy as well. If he can be that heartless, then don't blame me for being unreasonable. Wu Yufei looked at Lin Che and kept all her tears immediately. In an instant, it felt like Lin Che had become extremely big and mighty, nothing was impossible for her. I'll listen to you. Wu Yufei nodded her head with might. On the other side, Liang Shan was drinking some wine. Ha, Wu Yufei, this wretched girl. She still wants to fight with me, thinking I've no ways to deal with her. I know her weakness is the best. With this in my hands now, I'll see if she dares to turn around. Pitting herself against me, and now she still has to stay obediently by my side. She doesn't even dare to head out anymore. A guy eating some nuts at the side said, "Where did you hide her? Don't let Lin Che find out. That place is under another person's name. Nobody knows I have such a place." Then that's good. Brother Liang, you're really good. Only the brave can survive in this career. The weak ones will die out. That's true. Come, let's see. Wu Yufei, this lass, is not bad looking. Look at that body. Ha 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 ha. I'll let you see this part of the video. Don't leak it out. Hey, that's for sure. Oh, it would be great if I could do her. Where's the fun if I can only watch the video? You can if you want. With this in my hand, in the future, she'll have to serve whoever I want her to serve. Then, the two of them were about to watch the video. But a group of people barged in. The door was kicked open and the people came in. It scared the two of them and in a jump of fright, Liang Shan's mobile phone dropped to the floor. What are you guys, daring to come here? What are you doing? Get lost. Where's the security? I'm the VIP here. Liang Shan started shouting. Someone outside cleared his throat. Do you know whose place this is? The VIP here. You've offended Black Eagle. You're not a VIP anywhere. Offended Black Eagle. Before Liang Shan could react, he was already pushed to the floor. He saw a few big and strong men walking over and was picked up in a sweep. What do you guys want? You guys, you took off my pants you. Are you guys perverts? Over at this side, the man who was getting ready to watch the video with Liang Shan, had been frightened out of his wits and had hurried to flee from the side. When he looked back, he saw that Liang Shan had already been stripped naked and held there, with someone filming him at the side. Gosh, these people were really sick. A short while later, Liang Shan was tortured intensely. Someone watched him from the side, lowered his head, and threw his mobile phone at him. I've helped you record a segment as well. You can watch it. Of course, we'll be taking the full video. You better be careful, don't deal with women carelessly. Everyone is human, you'll know what it means to be humiliated like that. You're sent by Wu Yufei. Haha, do you think Wu Yufei has the ability to get us to take action? Liang Shan's eyes changed. Lin Che, you guys are sent by Lin Che. Oh, this Lin Che dares to treat me like this. Is she tired of living? Liang Shan cursed but did not think that with his words, he got kicked to the ground immediately. Liang Shan responded. You guys. You should know the relationship between Miss Lin and our boss. Do you dare talk about our boss's sister? I think you're tired of living. Having said so, the man kicked Liang Shan in his weakest spot. Liang Shan held onto his lower part. He wanted to cry but had no place to. You guys, I want to call the police. As soon as he said that, a gun pointed at his head. The guy cleared his throat. You really don't know who you've offended? It's fine, our sister Che usually keeps a low profile. She doesn't like our boss to meddle in things. But it doesn't mean that she'll allow you to be such a bully. Understand, you can try to call the cops. We'll see if the police want to take this plaything in my hands or I'll take your life first. This plaything, it was not carried around by just anyone. It was the first time that Liang Shan had seen this plaything. He was so scared until he started trembling. Something filthy started flowing out from his lower part. Chapter 1403 Gu Jingze said, bye. The men left after they were done. Liang Shan sat on the ground fuming as he had never been so humiliated before. Fine, Lin Che, you're something. Liang Shan thought in his head. Fine, I won't deal with Wu Yufei. Wu Yufei is not worth my time. But now, I'll deal with you, Lin Che. He did not go face to face. Seeing the power that Lin Che had today, it was indeed more than what he had imagined. Naturally, he did not dare to use the same antics as he did with Wu Yufei on Lin Che. However, he could use underhand tricks. Public opinions had always been like a knife. Anybody could use it, benefit, or get hurt from it. Liang Shan had not returned for long and he made a call to a familiar marketing number right away. He got someone to let out the news that the person who was sowing discord between Wu Yufei and him was none other than Lin Che. He said that Lin Che had always wanted to be the industry's chief but Glorious Star had always been in the way. As Glorious Star had grown, Lin Che had no choice but to start using this tactic to go against Glorious Star to poach their people. There were all kinds of rumors spreading as well that mentioned that Lin Che had a lot of power, connections with officials, and befriending the people with motives as though she had the entire sky in her hands. Anyone who listened would be scared. Also, look at how scary the power surrounding her is, one wealthy family, one in the shadows, one Gu Jingze, one Yu Minmin. It was impossible if you want to steal the sky and exchange it for a day. Who would not be scared of her? Who would dare bully her? Even the broadcasting station was afraid of her. Thus, nobody else can make TV dramas except her. It was no issue even if it was being filmed while it was aired at the same time. The rumors made it like the internal departments were all operated by Lin Che's family. Due to numerous marketing departments doing the draft at the same time, the netizens saw it right away. When Yu Minmin saw all these, she scoffed. What's the meaning of this? Are they messing with us? Lin Che looked at some of the netizens' responses. No way, this is so exaggerated, who would actually believe this? Yu Minmin replied, to them, the entertainment industry has always been an exaggeration. They're not even familiar with it and only see it from their television screens. They don't know the specifics for sure. Oh, if you were as bold as they say you are, our company wouldn't be as small scale as we still are. And we wouldn't invest in a cheap TV drama that can only earn so much and we all end up exhausted. What is written about you is as though you're controlling the entire entertainment industry every minute. Yes, so formidable, I thought I was reading a novel. However, even if the people within the industry knew how exaggerated it was, those outside the industry might not think the same. The netizens immediately started bashing Lin Che. Lin Che looked and felt down. She did not think it was good to respond directly, so she posted a statement on Weibo. This world is getting more fantastical. Numerous netizens commented on this statement. In an instant, there were a few 10,000 comments, discussing everything. Just then, Gu Jingze suddenly appeared. In the afternoon, Lin Che was looking at the announcements when Yu Minmin ran over. Wow, quick have a look. Gu Jingze replied. What? Lin Che looked curiously. Yu Minmin immediately said, quick, have a look. Your husband is too domineering. Lin Che rushed over to look. It turned out that Gu Jingze had responded to one netizen's comment. The netizen had said, President Gu, your Lin Che has been bullied by Glorious Star. Gu Jingze replied with one word. Bye. Lin Che stared in astonishment. What does this mean? Wow, didn't you see the top list of topics? You have to see both. What topic? Lin Che looked over and saw this on the top of the list. GU Industries bought Glorious Star Entertainment. Lin Che was shocked and thought she had seen wrong. However, it was right. Gu Jingze had really bought it over. At the bottom, a notice by Glorious Star was seen. Glorious Star has a new owner but artists don't need to worry. Glorious Star has only a change of equity, it won't affect the department's growth. Under GU Clan's leadership, Glorious Star will definitely be greater. At the same time, we've become a family with Lin Che's studio. Please stop flaming us, everyone. Thank you. Weibo also mentioned Lin Che's studio. A staff member from Lin Che's studio had replied with a heart. This show left netizens surprised. Gu Jingze is so cool. The netizens were attracted to this move of Gu Jingze's. Nobody bothered about the outrageous story previously. Gu Jingze is the real man. He says buy and he buys. Wealthy means wealthy. There was someone who even put together some paragraphs about Lin Che and Gu Jingze. Lin Che's comments were overtaken by these paragraphs. It was all something like, Lin Che said, hubby, and then Gu Jingze responded, bye. Lin Che wondered about Gu Jingze. Just then, Liang Shan was really helpless. He went into the company, not understanding how the ownership of Glorious Star can change in just one afternoon when he was not around. President Chen, is it true? About what is being said online? Liang Shan asked immediately in the office. President Chen was packing his things. Yes, you only know now. We belong to GU Industries. I've left some equity dividends but most of it belongs to GU Industries now. Liang Shan's face changed. How can you sell just like that? He offered a lot of money. Moreover, if GU Industries wants to buy, there are many ways to do it. Do you think it's good to offend Gu Jingze? Look at it this way. If I don't sell it, he's going to use some tactics. When that happens, it'll still be his. I don't want to go through so much. Why not get that bit of money and let him have what he wants? But Liang Shan said. I don't agree. Oh, you don't have to agree. When the company was bought over, it was also agreed that you would no longer be working here. You can pack up. What? Liang Shan was stunned and just stood there, looking dead. Alright, you can go out now. This is part of the GU Industries. Also, we've already decided to have good relations with Lin Che's studio. We'll also follow her studio's rules and regulations. The change will start immediately. Liang Shan had never imagined that in an instant, he would fall into an abyss. He had thought that he could fight it out with Lin Che. All these years, he was considered as a reputable agent in the industry with some prestige. However, these were nothing in the eyes of the wealthy. Because their methods of solving problems were easier. Liang Shan had been too confident and too prideful all these years. He did not think that whatever made him feel proud was not even worth mentioning in the likes of Gu Jingze. Chapter 1404 The Top Company in the Trade. Glorious Star. When Liang Shan went out, everyone looked at him with strange gazes. They seemed to be mocking or pitying him. They looked at him like they were watching a show. Although Liang Shan was really capable in his work, he was also considered a man of evil deeds with a bad temper as well. If anyone went against him, he wouldn't let them off. Now, everyone was happy to see him get chased out because he had offended Lin Che. They all felt that he deserved this. He really thought that he was a top character in the circle, daring to offend anyone. Why didn't he think of Lin Che's status? Somewhere else. Wu Yufei raised her head and looked at Yu Minmin and Lin Che, who had come to the airport to send her off. She turned back and looked at this land, and at the posters of various celebrities that were still hung up on the walls. In the past, her photo had also been hung up here. However, when she passed by the airport, she would never care to take a look at them. After her scandal broke out, all of her advertisement offers had been retracted, and all the posters here were also replaced by other people's posters. In this circle, generations changed very quickly, and many people disappeared very quickly if they weren't careful. Therefore, only they knew how much pressure they were concealing under their glorious appearances. Some people said that they had a lot of money. That was right. If she was given another chance to make her choices again, she would still choose to join this trade. It was true that she shared the same thoughts as others about earning a lot of money in this trade. However, that was just one of the reasons. Compared to other hard-working people, it was much easier for them to earn money, and in larger quantities. However, it was impossible for one to feel satisfied. The more one got, the more one would want to get. In comparison, people who work in regular jobs might end up happier than them. She smiled and looked at Lin Che, her eyes moistening. Thank you. I really didn't expect that you would help me out like this. When I went to look for you, I didn't really have my hopes up, but was just left with no choice. But to think that you would still help me even though I've done so many bad things. I'm really sorry and, thank you. Lin Che sighed. I'm not really helping you either. It's just that I've seen too many people like you, changing as they work in this circle, turning from an innocent young lady to a darker character. Therefore, when I saw you, I thought of how so many people were led down the wrong paths. I can only say that I helped you because you were able to come and look for me. For others, I can only watch as they continue to pave about on this road. It would be like a repeated cycle, with everyone taking the same path. Yu Minmin said, that's right. You're lucky. Thankfully, you could still turn back. Go on. The things with Liang Shan have already been deleted. They won't be anyone threatening you anymore. But you should know that your reputation is very bad right now. If you continue to stay here, things will just get even harder. You might as well study abroad, build up yourself, and then, when you come back again, I hope that you can become better. Thank you, Sister Yu. More moisture gathered up in Wu Yufei's eyes. Tears were glistening, and she sniffled before taking another look outside. The plane heading toward England was arriving very soon. After she got on that plane, she was planning to leave for a few years and not come back. It'd be like a brand new life. She felt very emotional, but at the same time, relaxed. She had been in this circle for many years, but there had never been one moment when she had felt this relaxed. As expected, giving up was the most relaxing thing. It was just that most people continued to hold on to their obsessions, and weren't willing to give up the things that they had gotten. Lin Che and Yu Minmin watched her leave before they turned. Yu Minmin said, Glorious Star has liaised with us. There are some things that I don't know how to deal with, but they seem to make it seem as if we're now considered one family. They insist on coming over to our place for observational learning. Those artists had gone up against us so much in the past. This would be very awkward. Lin Che said, forget it. In the past, everyone belonged to different companies, so it was normal for there to be competition. Since we're now together, then we should let the bygones be bygones, and just do what needs to be done. Many celebrities felt anticipation when they heard that they were going to work together with Lin Che's work studio. After all, Lin Che's work studio didn't collaborate much with Glorious Star in the past, and they could only watch as Lin Che's work studio filmed one television series after another while they couldn't be involved. They were starting to wonder if they could be a part of the works Lin Che's work studio was involved in now. Yu Minmin said, everyone in the trade now knows that the two biggest agencies are working together. Glorious Star isn't weak, to begin with, and we're very strong too. Everyone is now saying that with the two of us working together, we'll become the biggest company. Lin Che said, really? When did our company become so amazing? Tisk, you really pay too little attention to the company. Lin Che didn't worry too much about these things. She was going to attend a charity banquet these few days, and she was planning to read through the materials in preparation for it. This was because this was the first time she was attending in the capacity of Mrs. Gu. Therefore, many media companies felt very agitated. Lin Che had long received news that a large number of media companies might head to the banquet. Moreover, the media also mentioned that this might be the first time for people to witness Mrs. Gu's charm in a formal event. They wanted to see if this big celebrity from the entertainment circle would do things that might bring disgrace to the Gu family. They made it sound so serious that even the company's stylist felt very worried, and started to make preparations for Lin Che very early in advance. Lin Che's style for that day was only decided after a few days of selection. In fact, Lin Che had attended similar banquets in the past. It was just that the media hadn't been openly invited. Lin Che didn't feel nervous at all. Seeing that everyone was prepared, she attended the banquet lightheartedly. However, it was unexpected that there would be other relatives from the Gu family attending the banquet as well. After the Gu family divided into two groups, the internal group and the external group, neither group interfered with the other nor mentioned each other much. The relatives that formed the internal group also treated as if Gu Jingze was a traitor, and their countenances would change at the mention of him. This time around, Shui Mengqi had prepared a previous gift and went to attend the banquet with the others. Before they arrived, they saw a group of reporters crowding outside, appearing to be very agitated. Shui Mengqi turned and asked, "What's going on?" Someone said, "Miss Shui, these people are here to take a photo of Lin Che. She's just a performer after all, and likes such effects, seeking so much attention no matter where she goes." Hearing that, Shui Mengqi let out a snort. Hee, she isn't presentable at all. I wonder why Gu Jingze is so bewitched by her. Her servant added, "That's right. Miss Shui, you're a successful person. After all, as a young miss from a great family through and through, you're definitely different from people like them. Your disposition, your figure, and your tastes in clothes is something that Lin Che won't be able to compare against." Chapter 1405 Definitely prettier than her. Shui Mengqi was dressed in a pair of silver heels that was 10 centimeters tall, and walked out of the spotless black Maybach she came in. After getting out of the car, there were reporters who kept asking if she was Lin Che. Someone at the back said, "Ah, I know her. She's Shui Mengqi. She's now the person taking charge of the Gu family now." "It's a woman." That's right, that's right. I heard that she's really amazing. Otherwise, how could she become the head of the Gu family? Oh my, let's quickly go over and take a look." The reporters came crowding over, but Shui Mengqi kept her head up, not throwing them a glance. She called the security guards to send them off while she lifted up her chest and stepped with her high heels on the smooth marble floor to enter the building. At this moment, someone at the back said, "Quick, look, is that the Gu family's car?" The reporters looked over and saw that it was true. The Gu family's blue symbol was very obvious, and given the formation, it should be Lin Che. All the reporters quickly crowded over. And Shui Mengqi had already entered the building by this time. The moment she did, she was surrounded by people. "It really is our great honor for Miss Shui to come to our event. Miss Shui is really beautiful, both refined and capable, as expected of a young miss who had grown up in such a dignified family since young. Miss Shui, your dress is really beautiful. Your figure is also wonderful. You're really born with such great traits." Shui Mengqi smiled politely, enjoying these praises. However, she didn't show it on her face. When the people at the charity banquet saw Shui Mengqi entering, people who knew her started to share who she was and that she had been quite impressive recently. Everyone showed great enthusiasm in such gossips and kept on discussing amongst themselves. "Look at her, she's leading the Gu family despite being so young." That's right, although the current Gu family isn't what it was in the past, it is still a top-notch influential family. She must have grown up in the Gu family since she was young as well. This is the type of education she had been given since she was young, and thus, she's so amazing. That's right, she's someone who has a better starting line. Shui Mengqi looked at the others and was feeling very happy. However, at that moment, Lin Che entered. Everyone's eyes lit up as they saw Lin Che lifting up the hems of her dress and walking in, with a few personal guards following behind her. A group of reporters followed behind her, and a noisy commotion broke out at the entrance. It was a state of chaos, with everyone trying to take a picture of Lin Che. It was as if nothing else was important except her. Everyone watched as Lin Che entered. She was wearing a light green long dress with prints. It had frills near the chest area, with the bottom trailing to the ground. Her high heels were very shimmery. Although she was dressed in plain colors, it brought out her beauty even more. She wore light makeup, but her eyes brought out her beauty even more. She only wore a simple necklace on her. She had dressed up so simply but still appeared so distinguished and unique amidst the chaos. It was as if no chaos could disturb her tranquility and gracefulness. She was like the brightest spot in the crowd that was noticed no matter how many people there were around her. Just one look at her was an unforgettable image. Wow, so beautiful, as expected of Lin Che. Who are those people around her? Why are the bodyguards brought in? Are bodyguards allowed in here? No one had brought along their bodyguards with them to the charity banquet. Someone said, these are her trusted aides, and she brings them no matter where she goes. You don't understand. Other people aren't allowed to do this, but if she wishes to, she'll definitely be able to. Moreover, these bodyguards have statuses as well. Do you think that anyone can have them? Her personal guards only recognizes her as their only mistress. They are very loyal. They aren't ordinary bodyguards but are her lackeys, the kind that is especially amazing. It was true that Lin Che appeared a lot more special when surrounded by the ground of people. She didn't have to care about anything, and it was enough for her to wear a faint smile and greet other people, showing off her beauty. Everyone's gazes were attracted by Lin Che's beauty. Shui Mengqi stood there and felt faintly uncomfortable. Lin Che was greeting other people when she looked up and suddenly saw Shui Mengqi. Shui Mengqi looked at her arrogantly, walking toward her under everyone's gaze. Long time no see. She wore a faint smile. Lin Che returned a smile as well. That's right, it's been a while, Miss Shui. So the two of them knew each other. Everyone watched and had found this strange at the beginning until they recalled that before the Gu family was separated, the two of them were from the same family. Shui Mengqi let out a snort and walked over in her high heels. She felt that she shouldn't be inferior when compared with Lin Che. After all, she had many years of upbringing. However, she still heard those soft whispers coming from others when she stood in front of Lin Che. Lin Che has such a great disposition. Lin Che is better looking. Lin Che is a lot younger than Shui Mengqi, and her skin is filled with plenty of collagen. Moreover, it's as if Lin Che doesn't age. She has always looked like she's only 18 years old. Her skin is really good. Lin Che really looks good no matter what she wears. Shui Mengqi's arms might look nice when seen individually, but they look thick when she is next to Lin Che's thin arms and slender legs. Shui Mengqi's countenance turned grim. Did these people think that she was dead? Did they think that she couldn't hear them? However, she did hear them. However, Lin Che acted as if she hadn't heard anything, and continued with the casual talk. It has been very long, and I do miss the days. Miss Shui should be busier than before. That's why it's so hard to get to meet you. Shui Mengqi chuckled. Of course. Alright, I'll have to go. I haven't brought over the item I meant to donate. I wonder what rare item you brought. Gu Jingze should have quite a lot of good things. Lin Che smiled. It's for charity. It isn't anything good. It'll be fine as long as it can be sold to bring about the charitable effect. When the others heard their conversation, they suddenly felt that Shui Mengqi appeared very stingy in front of Lin Che. She had purposely asked what Lin Che brought, as if she wanted to compare. However, Lin Che had spoken really well. Everyone had come for charity, and not for comparisons. After Lin Che said this, she walked past Shui Mengqi. Shui Mengqi seemed very angry and realized that she had lost her composure earlier on. However, it was only because she had been angered by other people, and had chosen the wrong words to say. Shui Mengqi watched as Lin Che entered with a graceful demeanor. Her face sank and she walked over. Chapter 1406 It's better to teach a man to fish instead of giving him a fish. Shui Mengqi submitted a diamond necklace in fury. When her servants saw that, they found this surprising. This wasn't what they had decided on giving for the charity event. This was probably one of Shui Mengqi's best items. Shui Mengqi looked at the blue necklace in her hand. This blue diamond was referred to as the modern heart of the ocean. It was a very rare natural blue diamond. She didn't feel any heartache at the moment. She only wants to show others that Lin Che was just a performer and could only act. Lin Che was eating food while Dong Zi walked over and said, "Miss, we've found out about it. Shui Mengqi had donated the heart of the ocean." Lin Che wore a cold smile. "Is that something very expensive?" "That's right, it's very expensive. Tisk tisk, she really wants to do this." At this moment, as expected, the big screen in front displayed the items that had been donated today. The MC was a well-known host, and he was saying this very agitatedly, "We're very honored and thankful that the many kind-hearted angels in the human world can come here today. Everyone can take a look to see if there's anything you like. We hope that everyone can show more love for today's charity event." Other people's items were still decent. After all, although they were rich, there wasn't anything that stood out a lot from the others. Not many people would be willing to bring out their heirlooms for this event. After all, it was just a charity event. Although most of the things that were donated were quite valuable, there wasn't anything interesting. Moreover, everyone knew that a few influential families would be attending this event and thus, many didn't try to fight for the limelight. They knew that they wouldn't be able to win against them anyway. After all, those families were more well off than they were. Therefore, everyone just watched as the few big families took out the items. The first item was a Buddha statue. It was an antique and even if the price went up to over 10 million, there would still be buyers for it. Everyone exclaimed that this was expected of an influential family. They were what smaller businessmen could compare against. Lin Che, like the other few influential families, had been arranged in an individual room upstairs. It faced the stage, and the spot she was given gave off a sense of superiority. Lin Che's item still hadn't appeared, and everyone was full of anticipation. They wanted to see what Lin Che would bring when this was her first time officially attending such an event in the capacity of Mrs. Gu. However, at this moment, the MC suddenly said, "Now, we'd like to bring out a rare gift for everyone." A blue diamond was brought in under everyone's exclamation. "It's so beautiful. This looks a lot like Heart of the Ocean. Such a big diamond piece must definitely be very expensive. Who is so generous to donate such a treasure?" The MC gave everyone the answer to this. "The person who brought such a great gift is our beautiful and kind-hearted Miss Shui Mengqi." Wow, Shui Mengqi. As expected of an influential family. To think that she's so generous. Everyone turned their gaze to the private room on the upper floor. Shui Mengqi sat there, looking down and wearing a smile. At this moment, she appeared as if she was covered in a layer of dignified aura, and other people were very envious of her. Everyone looked at that diamond and started to fight for it. Shui Mengqi watched from upstairs, not showing any emotions on her face. She just cast occasional glances toward Lin Che, who was in the room opposite hers. Lin Che sat there, not seeming to be taking any action as if she was neither planning to buy nor sell anything. Everyone started discussing amongst themselves. This is really awkward. One of them is from the Gu family's internal group, and the other from the external group. What is Lin Che, the one representing the external group, going to do since the internal group brought out such an expensive item? I haven't seen Lin Che's item brought out yet. Gu Jingze's item can't possibly be bad. But it might not be as good as this. Everyone looked toward Lin Che, but at this moment, the MC suddenly said, "Now, let us invite Mrs. Gu to the stage." Under everyone's strange gazes, Lin Che walked naturally up the stage. She was an artist, to begin with, and her performance on stage was a lot more natural than the other people present. Lin Che looked at the MC and smiled, "Hello, it's been a while since we've met." Since the MC was a well-known host, he naturally had met Lin Che before. It was just that back then, Lin Che wasn't Mrs. Gu yet. This time around, he already felt very honored to be the MC for this event. He knew that everyone here was very rich and influential. This was an event that people who were just rich wouldn't be able to enter. Moreover, this time around, there was still the Gu family and a few other influential families attending the event. Therefore, he had been very careful when he came. Now, looking at Lin Che, hearing her mention that it had been a while since they had met, he felt very guilty. He lowered his head and said, "Mrs. Gu is too kind, too kind." Lin Che stood there, and everyone found this strange. Why did Lin Che go up? She's an artist. She can't possibly be like other celebrities who attend charity bazaars and want to donate her personal belongings, right? Haha, who would want her personal belongings? This isn't the television station. Just as everyone was finding this strange, the MC had cleared his throat. He held the microphone and said, "This time around, we're very honored to announce that although Mrs. Gu hadn't brought anything to our charity banquet tonight, she has indeed brought a great gift." Everyone wondered curiously, what did he mean that she didn't bring anything? Lin Che came empty-handed. The MC said, "I feel that I should let Mrs. Gu be the one to say this herself." Lin Che smiled and took the microphone from him. "It's true that I didn't bring anything today. It's because after giving it a lot of thought, I felt that although we've been contributing our love by participating in charity banquets every year over so many years, it's better to teach a man to fish instead of giving him a fish. I don't really feel much when I donate things every year. I have a lot more leisure time compared to everyone present here, so I've set up a charity organization called the Pink Angels. Given the Gu family's capabilities, I hope that we can help more people in need." Set up a charity organization. Everyone understood what was going on. At this moment, a foreigner walked in slowly, holding onto a stack of materials. He walked up the stage and said, "To support Mrs. Gu's kind intentions, I, as a representative of the Dian royal family, will show support for Mrs. Gu. We will be providing for 50% of the fundings for the Pink Angels." The royal family was working together with Lin Che. In the beginning, everyone still couldn't understand what had just happened. But now, they finally understood. Gu Jingze's relationship with the royal family was this good. And the crucial thing was that Lin Che now also had such a close relationship with the royal family. This was something that they had not known before. Although there had been rumors that Hammond, from the royal family, was a good friend of Gu Jingze, no one knew if this was true. After seeing the royal family's relationship with Lin Che now, everyone suddenly recalled this. Chapter 1407. I'm worried that something might happen to the children. Suddenly, no one cared about anything else. Lin Che herself was providing official help to the people in need. It wasn't a matter of tens of millions, but an endless investment. Moreover, it was cooperation together with the richest royal family in the world. Everyone naturally stood up and gave Lin Che a round of applause. Look at her. It's a simple cooperation, but she's doing it with the royal family. She is really generous. She doesn't care to just donate a little amount of money. This is what it really means to be doing charity work. Everyone looked up at Lin Che, feeling as if she was shining very brightly. It was because her connections were very shocking, and her status was also very amazing. People like this would seem as if they were covered in a halo everywhere they went, making others look up to them uncontrollably. Therefore, everyone naturally felt that this brilliant lady on the stage was very dazzling. She looked very beautiful, generous, and exuded a different charm. Shui Mengqi looked at the woman downstairs, her countenance turning very grim. Shui Mengqi quickly left, but with everyone busy praising and being envious of Lin Che, no one noticed that she had left. Lin Che is really good. To think that she has connections with the royal family. With the royal family assisting whatever she does, will there be anything she won't be able to do well? Moreover, it's such a rich royal family. Shui Mengqi listened as others spoke, feeling so angry that it felt as if her heart was convulsing. She arrived back in the Gu family mansion very quickly. Shui Mengqi threw a stack of documents onto the floor. She looked at her assistant and asked, "When did Lin Che get to work together with Hammond? How do you guys do your work? To think that you didn't tell me about this in advance." This right now, the news from Gu Jingze's side is very tight. The people there have been replaced in waves long ago, and we don't have many people there anymore. Therefore, it's very hard for us to find out about their news. Shui Mengqi gritted her teeth. Then what on earth is Gu Jingze doing now? There are rumors that Gu Jingze had intentionally left the Gu family so that he can help Hammond to fight for the throne. They also said that Gu Jingze has his own secret troops that no one knows about, to begin with. It's just that all the news sounds like a mix of true and fake news, so it's really hard to determine. Shui Mengqi's hands clenched tightly together. That was impossible. Gu Jingze couldn't have done it on purpose. It was also impossible for him to have some kind of private troops. Otherwise, why weren't they able to get any news about this? However, if these were true, Shui Mengqi felt a chill in her heart. This Gu Jingze would be too sinister and too terrifying. Lin Che headed back from the charity banquet, and she had just entered the door when she received an invitation from the Gu family. She was stunned for a moment and asked, "Gu family's relatives?" The butler said, "This should be an invitation letter sent by the relatives." Lin Che picked it up and took a look. It said that the Gu family's relatives were inviting them to pay respect to their ancestors. Lin Che asked, "Does Gu Jingze know about this matter?" "This invitation is for you." Me. Lin Che opened up the letter and only then did she read that the relatives hoped that she could bring the two children to pay respects to the ancestors. It was because the two children hadn't paid respect to the ancestors in the past. They were from the Gu family after all, and paying respect to the ancestors would allow the ancestors to bless them with safety. Lin Che said, "Hey, what do they mean by this?" The butler said, "It seems that the relatives still wish to break the ice. They probably know that with Sir's departure, the Gu family are no longer as strong as before, and thus feel a little guilty. I'll still ask what Gu Jingze thinks about this." Lin Che personally didn't wish to go. After Gu Jingze came back, Lin Che showed him the invitation letter. "Do you think that Shui Mengqi is pulling tricks and want me to go?" Gu Jingze took a look. "No, it's the Gu family's relatives. They probably hid this from Shui Mengqi, wanting to get into our good books." "Huh, then what should we do? Do you want to go?" Lin Che shook her head. Of course, she didn't. "Then there's no need to care about it." Lin Che replied with a no, then continued to ask, "There's no need to care about their efforts to do these?" Gu Jingze replied indifferently, "No need. We don't need them to be a burden to us either." After saying that, he picked Lin Che up. The Gu family's relatives were feeling very disappointed that they hadn't received a reply from Lin Che. However, at this moment, Shui Mengqi found out about this matter. "What, are the relatives trying to get into Gu Jingze's good books?" "That's right, Miss Shui. It seems like it." Shui Mengqi said angrily. Back then, they were the ones who said that they didn't care for him. But look at what they are doing now. However, it was true that Shui Mengqi was afraid. She didn't wish for Gu Jingze to come back. If he did, the first person he'd deal with would be her. "They are forcing me." Shui Mengqi hammered her fist down onto the table with great force. Lin Che sent the two children to kindergarten early in the morning. She only left after seeing that the children had gone in and that there were no reporters following them. However, Lin Che had just arrived at the company to deal with work matters when she suddenly picked up a call. "Ah, Mama, Mama." A pitiful voice rang out and Lin Che was suddenly struck with a shudder. This voice sounds like Nianian's. But, no, Nianian wouldn't call out like this. She was surprised for a moment and quickly picked up the phone. "Who are you? What do you want?" The call got cut off. Lin Che listened to the beeping from the phone and blinked. "Dongzi," she said, "go check if Nianian is safe." Dongzi said, "Yes, Nianian is safe. Madam, we have people constantly on surveillance over here." Lin Che felt assured for now. "All right, there's nothing else then. Send more people there, and help me check where that call that just came in is from." Dongzi left after receiving the order. "Miss, that's an invalid number. Someone must have called with a fictitious number." Lin Che was feeling a little worried, and she couldn't sit still. "Clear my schedule for the day. I'll be heading to the kindergarten first." "Yes, miss." At the preschool, the children were playing happily. Gu Xinian and Gu Xiuan weren't in the same class. Lin Che took a look at Gu Xiuan, then went to take a look at Gu Xinian. After seeing that both children were fine, she felt even more uneasy. That was right, children were a mother's greatest weakness. After taking a look for a while, she still said to Dongzi, "Send more men. I suspect that someone is planning to lay their hands on the two children." Dongzi asked, "Who could it be?" Lin Che said, "Recently, the Gu family's relatives have been trying to get into our good books. Shui Mengqi might harbor hatred toward us. I'm worried that she'd lay a hand on us." Lin Che looked at Dongzi. "You go over as well. Follow Nianian." "But miss, you." "I'm fine, I feel more at ease with you over there." Dongzi gave it some thought before nodding. Lin Che left to head back. However, she had just arrived outside when she received another call. "Beep beep mama mama, I'm very scared." It was still Nianian's voice. The voice sounded very heartbreaking. Even though Lin Che knew that the child wasn't Nianian, her heart still wrenched up. "Pervert, who are you? What do you want?" She cursed, but the call got cut off once again. 1408 to think that she was the one behind this. Lin Che listened to the beeping sounds, feeling very empty inside. However, at this moment, a car suddenly came charging out. "Miss, lower your head quickly." The chauffeur shouted out. Lin Che looked up in astonishment, but before she could react, she had banged into the front seat. While she was feeling dizzy, she saw a few rows of cars stopping in front. Her chauffeur had already lost his life signals. At the very final moment, he shouted out to remind his young miss, and then he was knocked so hard by the car in front that his head bled profusely and he died on the spot. Tears welled up in Lin Che's eyes. Little Kai. She knew that there was no time to look at him now, and wanted to open the door when someone had already opened it for her. After she was pulled out of the car, she looked at the people in front. The car behind them was damaged from the collision. There were a few people inside and he had no idea if they were dead or alive. She could only take a glance at them before she was grabbed and dragged into one of the cars at the front. Sure enough, it's a lot easier when that Wang Dong isn't around. That's right, there aren't as many people following her this time around either. It's a pity that there were still a few killed. Forget it, it's just murder. You're scared. Lin Che was in a groggy state when she heard this conversation going on in the car. She suddenly understood that someone had wanted her to think that they wanted to lay a hand on her children, attempting to divert the attention away. This was so that Dong Zi and the others could place more emphasis on the children, and loosen their attention over here. Their goal was Lin Che. Lin Che's mind was filled with the two children, so she didn't think of herself. She was brought away in a groggy state to an unknown place. She had just entered when she felt that she was pushed into something with a large force. She felt an icy cold feeling and lowered her head to realize that this was a cistern. Almost her entire lower body was submerged in water. She looked up and wanted to say something, but everything had turned pitch black. The door was closed. Hey, who are you guys? What on earth do you want? Say something. Unable to see anything, she could only slowly move to the edge. Everything within her reach was icy cold, and there wasn't any place where she could sit. Such an environment was sleep-inducing. However, she knew that she couldn't sleep. She must not. If she went to sleep, she might never be able to wake up again. Was this how these people wanted to torture her? As this was a cistern, she couldn't sit or lean against anything. She could only remain standing. Who hated her this much? At this moment. Outside. The voice that you recorded was useful after all. Our men had used the voice recording to successfully deceive Lin Che, making her feel anxious. It seems that you do have some understanding of Lin Che after all. Hee, of course, I know her. No matter how she has changed, she's still Lin Che down to her bones. She's still that petty Lin Che who would get anxious when hearing a child's voice. It's impossible for her to be as cold-hearted as you. It was two women speaking. One of them was Shui Mengqi. The other one had half of her face covered up. She sat there with her fat figure, no longer looking like how she used to. There was nothing but fats on her face. However, people who knew her would be able to figure out something from hearing her voice. She was Mo Hilling. Shui Mengqi smiled. I still have to thank you for getting Ji Yushinian's voice from your son. There's nothing to thank. Mo Hilling let out a cold snort, wearing an indifferent expression. It was as if she wasn't an ordinary person, as if she was really someone with a heart of stone. I hate her. I hate her more than anyone does. As long as she can feel worse than death, I'll be willing to do anything, let alone this simple matter. That was right. This person was Mo Hilling. It was now that Shui Mengqi felt that it was really worth saving this ugly person. Back then, she had felt very disdainful when she saw the half-dead Mo Hilling. Back in the years, Mo Hilling had been so intimate with Gu Jingze, but eventually, she still ended up in such a plight. No matter what, she was still defeated in Lin Che's hands. Moreover, she was also a lunatic. However, just as she was about to heave, Mo Hilling suddenly looked up. She wore a vengeful expression as if her eyes were burning in flames, and the words she spoke were like a venomous snake's tongue, filled with vicious intentions. Save me. I'll help you kill Lin Che. Shui Mengqi looked at her in surprise. Are you crazy? Mo Hilling said, I've been crazy for many years, and have only just woken up. How can I be crazy? How can I die? That bitch is still living so well. I can't die just like that. Back then, Shui Mengqi was struck by a thought. It was like they said, that an enemy's enemy was one's friend. She saved Mo Hilling back then, secretly giving her treatment until she recovered. She was finally put to use now. Shui Mengqi said, I'll get someone to notify Gu Jingze. No need, I'll do it. She stood up slowly and looked outside. Gu Jingze, I want to meet him once. Where is she? Gu Jingze sat down heavily on the chair. Dong Zi knelt in front of him, lowering his head. I'll definitely find her. Gu Jingze asked, how many died? Dong Zi looked up. He understood that Gu Jingze was asking how many of those bodyguards Lin Che had brought along with her died. 6. Is it certain that there aren't any of Lin Che's blood traces at the scene? Yes, we've done blood tests. There aren't any that belong to Miss. At this moment. Sir, there's a woman outside. Please come and take a look quickly. The butler came, wearing a horrified expression. Gu Jingze's countenance sank when he saw the butler acting like this. When Gu Jingze went out, he saw that fat and dark-skinned woman who looked like a woman in her 40s. His eyes immediately narrowed. Mo Hilling. Gu Jingze recognized her. Tears immediately fell down Mo Hilling's eyes when she looked at this man, whose face continued to look as dignified and perfect like that of a god. Why, this wasn't fair. Lin Che and Gu Jingze both still looked so wonderful, but she had ended up in her current state where even she couldn't bear to look at herself. Why did God have to do this to her? Why was God so unfair to her? Gu Jingze, to think that you still recognize me. I'm really very surprised, as expected of Gu Jingze, never forgetting what you've seen. You're always so wise, smart, and forever so heartless. She smiled pathetically. Gu Jingze looked at her and slowly walked forward. Where is Lin Che? When Mo Hilling heard him mention Lin Che's name, she broke out laughing. Lin Che, Lin Che. If it wasn't because of this Lin Che, Jingze, we'd still be fine together, right? You would still love me as before. We would have gotten married, had children, and lived together happily forever. Chapter 1409. Then you guys can die together. Gu Jingze smiled. You're mistaken. The one I love is Lin Che. It's true that we had a good relationship, but back then, I had no idea what love is. I had never loved you before, never. You, Mo Hilling's countenance turned even grimmer, as if she had eaten a fly. However, a moment later, she immediately broke out into vicious laughter. All right, then your love is going to be gone very soon. It's because Lin Che will be dying very soon. At the next instant, Gu Jingze's hand was already strangling at Mo Hilling's neck. Where on earth is Lin Che? His strength was so great that Mo Hilling to stagger. She felt as if her neck was almost breaking. Her face turned pale and started to stutter in her speech. Ha, all right, if you strangle me to death, then you'll never be able to find out where Lin Che is. Gu Jingze looked at her, and slowly let go of his hand. Where is Lin Che? Mo Hilling said, come with me and I'll tell you. The others wanted to follow after them. Gu Jingze looked at Mo Hilling. No one is allowed to follow us. Mo Hilling smiled. Very smart. Gu Jingze followed Mo Hilling to a dilapidated factory. It seemed like an abandoned food factory. She pushed open an old door. There was no one inside. Where on earth is Lin Che? Gu Jingze looked at her. Mo Hilling said, all right, I'll tell you. Of course, I can tell you, but you must agree to one condition. Gu Jingze's gaze deepened. Mo Hilling said, don't worry. I won't ask you to promise me anything serious. Mo Hilling got a bit closer. I only want to get you to kiss me once more. This time around, Gu Jingze's gaze deepened even more. He stared at her eyes. Mo Hilling's eyes were the only part that could let one see that she had been very agitated. Mo Hilling looked at his good-looking appearance and his amazing face. Every part of it had been her love. It was undeniable that after so many years, he was still the person she loved the most. The first thing on her mind after she woke up was still him. It was after seeing everything on television that she found out that after so many years, the relationship between Gu Jingze and Lin Che had already been announced to the public. Moreover, there were a lot of people expressing their envy toward Lin Che on the internet and their adoration for Gu Jingze. Why, are you not willing? Mo Hilling looked down. Lin Che was locked up inside. She knew that. She also knew that Lin Che could hear the sounds outside. I want you to say that you're still the one I love, and then, kiss me. Can you do that? Mo Hilling looked at Gu Jingze and said. Inside. It was true that Lin Che heard this voice. She banged against the wall on one side, but there was nothing inside that she could use to make sounds with. Ah, is there anyone out there? She shouted, but her voice was hoarse and she couldn't make a sound. She was already in this state after staying here for a few hours. If this were to continue, she would die. It was because the humidity level here was too high, and she had already gotten a fever. Moreover, she was also soaked in water, and was feeling very fatigued. It seemed as if she was going to faint at any moment. Was Gu Jingze here? But who was the other voice? Why was it so familiar? Why did it sound so evil that it gave the feeling as if she was in a nightmare? At this moment, outside. Mo Hilling continued to look at Gu Jingze. Why, you aren't willing, haha, this is how much your love for Lin Che is. You aren't even willing to make a small sacrifice. Or are you afraid that you'll break out in rashes if you were to touch me? Have you not recovered from your illness yet? Gu Jingze looked at her. Alright, I'll agree to it. Mo Hilling's eyes flickered. Her heart seemed to be like a delighted deer, skipping about. Downstairs. Lin Che was shocked when she heard the two voices. Mo Hilling, Mo Hilling. That voice belonged to Mo Hilling. But why was it her? Wasn't she crazy? But, right now, what was in her mind was that Mo Hilling wanted Gu Jingze to kiss her. Lin Che felt disgusted at the thought of this. One reason was naturally because the thought of Gu Jingze kissing Mo Hilling made her feel disgusted. Another reason was because Mo Hilling knew well that Gu Jingze was allergic to women. What did she want? Did she want Gu Jingze to die? No, that mustn't do. Lin Che banged against the wall even harder, but it was still useless. She started panicking, touching around. Finally, she found the door's knob. Since she couldn't open it, she decided to use the water to splash against the door forcefully. Swoosh, swoosh. Some water seeped out slowly from inside. Outside. Gu Jingze noticed that water was seeping out from inside. That should be the door to a cellar. Was there a lot of water in the cellar? No, that wasn't it. If the water was full and leaking outside, then the entire door should be wet. However, only a small part of the door in the middle was leaking water. His eyes moved and he looked at Mo Hilling once again. Suddenly, he pushed Mo Hilling away and dashed over to the cellar. Mo Hilling let out a cry and fell to the ground. Seeing Gu Jingze charge over, an evil expression broke out on her face, as if she was a devil. That look that was a mix of jealousy, vengeance, and craziness made her face appear even more distorted. Alright, since you love her so much and aren't willing to give me a kiss no matter what, then you can die together with her. Outside, Shui Mengqi felt surprised. What on earth does this Mo Hilling wants to do? It was because Shui Mengqi had trusted in the hatred that Mo Hilling had toward Lin Che, that she gave control to Mo Hilling. She was only looking at everything through the surveillance cameras. Inside, Mo Hilling had already charged over fiercely. Gu Jingze used all of his strength and kicked the door open. The instant Lin Che saw Gu Jingze, a hint of a smile finally flashed on her pale face. However, just then, Gu Jingze, she let out a loud cry. Seeing Mo Hilling dashing over with a dagger, Lin Che had no idea where she had gotten the strength from, and she pulled Gu Jingze behind her. Gu Jingze was still stunned when he saw Mo Hilling's dagger piercing into Lin Che's stomach. Lin Che stopped moving. She couldn't feel any pain and only felt something cold running through her body. It was probably because she was too agitated that she couldn't feel any pain at all. Lin Che. Gu Jingze cried out crazily. He looked up at Mo Hilling, and then put down Lin Che. Then, with bloodshot eyes, he pressed down Mo Hilling's hand onto the ground. The dagger dropped, and he picked it up, piercing into her body. Ah! Mo Hilling cried out loudly. Blood flowed out from her clothes, but she hadn't died. She bit onto Gu Jingze's arm. Ha 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 ha, go and die. Go and die together with Lin Che. You're allergic, right? You'll have allergic reactions, right? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you right away. Shui Mengqi was still waiting outside. The original plan she had with Mo Hilling was to let Gu Jingze develop allergic reactions and then lose his strength. They would then get someone to kill him. She asked, "Who asked you to not kiss me? Who asked you to not kiss me? Can't you even do it for one last time?" Gu Jingze looked at her coldly. "Look at your horrendous appearance." His words almost caused Mo Hilling to break down. Chapter 14:10 What's the point in living? How terrible did she look? Yes, she had nearly forgotten. She had nearly forgotten how fat she was now, how ugly and old she looked. She herself dared not even look in the mirror these days as she worried that she would not recognize herself at all. Gu Jingze looked at her at this moment. Then, he took out his phone immediately, opened up his camera in selfie mode, and put it in front of her. Immediately, Mo Hilling saw her actual appearance on the camera. Was that her? Was that her? Mo Hilling suddenly screamed when she saw the fierce-looking woman with a bumpy face and an uneven complexion. She reached out and forcefully hit Gu Jingze's phone out of his hand. Then, she walked further away in a frantic manner. "Not me, not me, not me, that's not me." Gu Jingze sneered, "That is you. So, how do you think I could possibly kiss you? No no, no. And in what way do you think you can compare to Lin Che at all?" Mo Hilling looked at Lin Che who had collapsed on the ground. Even though her complexion was pale right now, her appearance was still so beautiful. She was just like a frozen beauty lying on the ground. She was thin and pale, but she nevertheless evoked such tenderness. As a result, Mo Hiling rushed out immediately. Immediately following this, Gu Jingze crumbled to the ground. He grabbed Lin Che's hands in the desolateness. Little Che, he held Lin Che's hands tightly, but there was no longer any reaction from her. He lay there beside her, feeling dreadful. Little Che, why aren't you speaking anymore? Little Che, you're usually such a chatterbox. Why have you gone completely silent today? Little Che, I love it most when you speak non-stop and keep complaining. Little Che, say something quick. Little Che, in your next life and in the life after that, will you always remember me? Whether or not you remember me, I will always be waiting. Always, always. Shui Mengqi looked at the situation inside. Attack, quickly, Gu Jingze's illness has flared up. Yes, Miss Shui. Shui Mengqi sneered and watched her subordinates rush out immediately. She herself also walked out thereafter. When she saw Mo Hiling on the ground, with her hands covering her face, she scoffed. Look at yourself now. Mo Hiling was still mumbling to herself, it's not me. That's not me. Shui Mengqi laughed grimly, that is you, Mo Hiling, to begin with, you're so ugly that you make people want to puke. I can't believe you even wanted Gu Jingze to kiss you. I think you're actually still insane. You haven't gotten better at all. After Shui Mengqi was done using her, she was no longer courteous to her at all and provoked her directly. As for Mo Hiling, she had been provoked for real. She sprang to her feet all of a sudden and tore at Shui Mengqi's flesh with her teeth. Mo Hiling, are you mad? Let go of me. Let go of me. My face. Mo Hiling bit Shui Mengqi's face directly. Her teeth were as sharp as those of a mother leopard and she held on for dear life. Shui Mengqi felt a stab of pain on her face and screamed. Then, she felt Mo Hiling bite her, directly tearing off a piece of flesh from her face. The people from the Shui family had all gone in to look for Gu Jingze, leaving only the two of them here. At this moment, they immediately gathered around the two of them. They grabbed Mo Hiling and kicked her straight to the ground. However, before they could do anything to her, they heard 2 gunshots being fired. Bang, bang. The two of them fell to the ground following the sounds. Shui Mengqi's face was covered in fresh blood. When she lifted her head, she immediately saw that the barrel of a gun was pointing at her. Her eyes instantly widened. She looked up and saw the person in front of her. It turned out to be Li Mingyu. You. At this moment, Mo Hiling was also frozen at the back. Then, she saw people come in successively from behind and rush inside directly. Before long, the sounds inside had already resounded elsewhere. The next moment, someone ran out and said to Li Mingyu, we've already found him. Mr. Gu is fine. Miss Lin is severely injured. What? Gu Jingze was fine. Shui Mengqi's face immediately stiffened. Li Mingyu nodded his head. Then, he cast a dark and cold gaze on Mo Hiling. He looked at that face. He looked at her mouth which was filled with fresh blood. She seemed like a devil, a lunatic, a beast. She simply did not seem human. Mo Hiling looked at him with resentment. Li Mingyu shook his head. Hiling, I can't believe you didn't look for me even though you've already recovered. Li Mingyu said after sighing briefly. Mo Hiling smiled gloomily. Would you help me if I sought you out? Don't think I don't know. You've already been seduced by that little vixen Lin Che. Even if I looked for you, you wouldn't help me either. Li Mingyu laughed grimly. At the very least, you're the mother of my son. Of course, I will want to try my best to help you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have supported you for so many years for no reason. Given the way you look, no one will take pity on you anyway if I throw you out. It's a shame that you don't trust me. Putting that aside, you even did something like this. You hurt Lin Che, you hurt Gu Jingze, and you have no sense of shame at all. How did I take a fancy to you back then? I even helped you so much. It's only now that I know that a woman like you deserves whatever end she comes to. You, Mo Hiling looked at Li Mingyu furiously. Li Mingyu scoffed. Forget it. On account of the fact that you're the biological mother of my son, let me end this for you. What? Mo Hiling froze only to see Li Mingyu shoot her. Before she could even shout one word, the gun had already shot her between her eyebrows. Her eyes looked straight ahead and there was an expression of indignance on her face. However, she had already collapsed. There was no longer any possibility of her speaking. Meanwhile, Shui Mengqi was scared out of her wits. She covered her face with her hands and moved backward. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Li Mingyu scoffed, only to see Gu Jingze walk out from inside, whilst carrying a woman covered in fresh blood from head to toe. Li Mingyu froze. Lin Che, how did this happen? With an ice-cold expression, Gu Jingze cast a glance at Shui Mengqi at the side. Li Mingyu immediately felt anger surge through him. He looked at Lin Che and felt unbearable distress. Then, he immediately kicked Shui Mengqi's face. Ah! Shui Mengqi collapsed on the ground and continuously shrank backward. Gu Jingze said, in order to save me, she took a blow from a knife. Li Mingyu looked at Gu Jingze. Are you even a man? To have a woman shield you from a knife? Yes, I didn't notice. I didn't notice that there was a knife in Mo Hiling's hand. So, now. It didn't hit her vital parts. I'll take her to the hospital first. Sure, go quickly. Shui Mengqi remained there, watching in disbelief. That's impossible. How could Gu Jingze be fine? Earlier, his illness clearly flared up. Li Mingyu scoffed. You really should have gone over to take a proper look. If his illness had flared up, would his body be completely fine? Hammond has already found an antidote. Although its effect is only temporary and it's very expensive, it's enough to deceive you. Alright, since you're so stupid, there's not much point in having you live in this world. Why don't I shoot you?